everybody, welcome to another episode of Taekwondo. My name is Petra and it is indeed Saturday. It is 7 p.m. Central European Time. That means it is time for Taekwondo. Now, if you are living in the US, for example, it might be a little bit of a different time zone for you. Sorry for that, but that's the way it goes with time zones. Today, I still do not have any cat in my studio. No, not Kermit, not Scooter. But I'm pretty sure that Scooter will crash the party like he did last week. Hopefully not, but hey, that's the way it goes, right? Thank you very much for being here live and direct. I do see some people have joined. So, of course, like always, first one to join is MT. Welcome, welcome. Really appreciate that. I see now a black and white smiley, which reminds me that I have to upgrade my vMix. And let's talk about that next week, about the new vMix situation going. He also likes the music, and a lot of people are actually digging the music, which is great. I also see Gerard from Stuttgart. MT is also, of course, from Germany. It's waving, indeed, like the music. Cool, cool, cool. I also see Raoul in the house. Welcome, Raoul. Really appreciate you for taking the time again. And, of course, also my dad, who is saying in Dutch and in German, like he's doing right here, that he is greeting everybody, and hopefully that everybody has a great spring, if that is the case for you, of course, if you live on the northern hemisphere, that is. Let me check if I have another people joining. Yes, of course we have. I see let me see DJ Ware from Dallas, Texas. Cool for you to be here. Veal is in the house. Welcome, Veal. Really appreciate you for being here. Petra, the lower mic arm looks great, but I'm sure you must pay attention to not poking it in your monitor. Yes, you've seen that. That is cool. Yeah, so now you also know how small the studio effectually is. And indeed, it's a bit of a bummer. That's the reason why I have to sometimes look like this, because there's an arm in front of it, but also the stream deck is in front of it. It's just the way it goes. And the reason why I have my monitors that low is twofold. One, if I do look up, you will see the glasses, the lights in the glasses. That's one. That's the first one. That's actually the most important one. And another thing is that I'm getting old. I have bad eyesight, so I have these glasses that are multifocal. So that means that on the lower end, it's actually very good to read stuff. That's the reason why I put all my monitors as low as I get, because that's where I have the best setup. Now, of course, I can put on a computer glasses, but I don't really like to do that here. My dad is stretching his finish. I see. Thank you so much for that. Gareth says, you need a new intro with both cats. I certainly do, and he is so adorable. I need to show you some pictures of my cat of today. I thought that my dad sent me some. So, oh yes, here he is. So if he's asleep, he's a very, very nice cat. Let me show you what it looks like. There you go. Boom. That's if everything is totally fine with him. He's really relaxing. And if he is not relaxing, he's still relaxing, this is what he looks like with his... There you go. He's starting to grow in front of us. He's really that fast. Let's go. Very cool. Anywho, yes, you're right. New intro needed. Digital Creation says, you're all good. Well, great. That first of all, that you are great. And yes, I'm also great myself. So thank you so much for asking. I cannot be more happy at the moment. So it's very good. I could indeed fill a program with a cat, but I doubt that you guys would like me to do that, so I'm not gonna bother you with that. But of course, you will occasionally see him. Anyhow, I cannot. So the thing is that I have such a small studio that I had to remove the door of this room, and because of that fact, the cats can get in. Basically, that's the reason. Let me see. Hey, Marjolein is also in the house. Hi everyone from The Hague in the Netherlands. Just finished producing a webinar. Good to be here. Hey, very good, Marjolein. Let us know more about that. How did you do that? What did you use? That kind of stuff. I'm really interested, and I think that we're all interested in that. All right. That was a quick check-in for everybody. Now it's time to really talk about the topic at hand, and that is, it's here. Yes, it is here. What am I talking about? My 19-inch rack is here, and it finally arrived last week, and this is what it looks like. Boom, there you go. So as you can see, it is by SKB. It is an 8U rack. It's roto-molded. It's quite huge. It's extremely huge, and it does come with a trolley, or like 2 wheels, so that you can drive it in front of you, so to speak. And that was really important. So let me just talk about what goes into building a case. From my perspective, I'm not saying that I'm the best, absolutely not, but I'm going to walk you through today why I've chosen for this particular case and what are the next steps. So I've already started to think about what components do I want to have. I actually arranged it already. Actually, I've already even built it a little bit, so I can show you a little bit on a picture, because it's too huge to just show you in this studio at the moment. So that is all coming in. And I will walk you through exactly the process on why do I need a case, why this case, what are my use cases. A lot of cases there in that sentence, but okay. And let's go move on. So first and foremost, why do I need a flight case? So you already saw me having a flight case a few weeks ago. It was a great flight case. I had that flight case for over 8 years already. I think it's about 10 years now. And the reason why I still have it is that I used to have the old ATEM television studio in there, and then I turned away from the ATEM, moved fully to computers and streaming software and that kind of stuff. I actually used the livestream studio, OBS, Wirecast, and now I ended up with vMix, and that's the one that I love the most, and I'm going to stay with vMix in combination with ProPresenter for other topics. Well, we can talk about those definitely at a later stage, but to put it very short and sweet, vMix has a possibility for social media comments, which ProPresenter does not have, and vMix is way easier for me to understand than ProPresenter, so that's the reason why I'm really using that as much as I can. However, in some cases, when I want to have graphics on local television sets where they're full screen and on the stream it needs to be a lower third, definitely ProPresenter. That's the reason why I like that software so much. Now, there's not going to be one flight case, but there are going to be 2 flight cases. Why do I need flight cases? Well, basically, I have so much gear that I have to bring along towards a gig, that if I would bring that to a gig, I would have to spend about 4, 5, maybe 6 hours to get things all done and working. That is, even though that I've done that in the past and it's doable, that is no longer something that I want to do. I want to just have the possibility to bring the case, maybe with 2 people. We're going to talk about how heavy it's going to be. And then just put those 2 cases side by side, connect them a little bit, as the least amount of possibilities, and then boom, you're done and you can start. Ideally, you should be able to start producing within the hour. That's basically what I want to achieve with that. Now, why? So the flight case has a twofold reason. I want to make sure that my devices are all nicely stored and safe from harm, by weather, by breaking, that kind of stuff. And the second reason is just the speed of getting things done. What I want to do is that this case that I just showed you, and I'm going to show it to you one more time, this case right here, that is a 8U rack, and this is going to be my video production rack. That is basically what it's going to be. Solely video. That's right, not audio related. That is because I will bring along quite some professional graded audio as well, and I will definitely talk about that at a later stage. I'm not that far. I know exactly how the audio setup is going to be like. However, I don't have everything yet, so I don't want to bother you with that at the moment. So let's start with the video production. So there's one going to be for video production, one is going to be for audio production. And what are the use cases that we want to achieve with this? I want to have a few use cases. I want to be able to live stream an event, being a concert, a local concert, or a local webinar, or not a webinar, but a conference. So I want to be able to do a lot of different things, but also hybrid. So fully local conference, a hybrid conference where in some cases some people are coming in via Teams or Zoom, and how I can be very flexible. So flexibility is key in this flight case. That's an extremely important thing. So you will also see that I've decided to do a lot of switching around for it. So that is what I was looking for. Let me see if there are some questions before I continue. The setup always depends on the needs on site. That is 100% correct, MT. And it's also the case that, like I said, I will got one for video, one for audio. I can do enough video for 80% of the time, well, 70% of the time with just the video rack. So that 70% is totally okay. It will work good enough. But if I want to have a good production where I'm also responsible for the audio, then in that case, I want to bring my own audio rack. So if we have some time left, I will definitely just briefly touch upon it, but it's not going to be in depth because I just want to make sure that everything is fine before I do that. Stanley, that's fine, my friends. Thank you for jumping in anyway. I really appreciate that. But that reminds me, if you like this kind of content, go ahead and subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon, because as I can see in the analytics, it's really extremely important if you hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. Anyway, all right, so we just touched about those two parts. Now comes the flexibility part. Unfortunately, I did not put a picture up yet, so I will show you a sneak peek. By the way, this is in flight mode. I hope that you don't have that irritating sound anymore. So I want to avoid that in the future. I just showed you the outside of the flight case, but I actually was already thinking out loud what I wanted to do. So the next picture that I'm going to show you might not be the end result, but it's probably going to be very, very close to the end result. Nothing in this picture has been connected yet. It's just a thought process. So that is also one thing that I wanted to talk to you about, is that you do have to know what you want to do roughly. However, once you have the product at hand, I think it's really good to start just to try things out. And this is what I came up with at the moment, as you can see. So this is roughly what the inside looks like. We have a monitor, then the intercom, then we have 6 Terranex minis, so 2 rows of 3, and then the smart video hub 12 by 12 to be as flexible as you can. So let's talk about the components, right? So the first one was the monitor. The monitor is a data video monitor, 17-inch. It contains, or it has SDI and HDMI inputs. that becomes very, very interesting. And I'm going to tell you why that is so interesting, is that if I have the ATEM Mini Extreme at the lower end of the rack, that ATEM Mini Extreme has an HDMI out for your multi-view. That HDMI I have to now convert to SDI. Why? Because I want to have one channel going to my monitor, so that I have an SDI monitor, and I have a second SDI port which I can bring into, for example, an output on the rack itself, or alternatively I can bring it to an input of the 12 by 12, which in that case, if I would put it on a 12 by 12, I can actually have a one-to-many relationship, because you might not know, or you do know, but the cool part of that video hub is that you can have one channel coming in and having it distributed across all 12 outputs. If I would like to, I'm not going to do that, but that would be a possibility right there. So you have a very, very flexible product like that. And the idea that I had with that 12 by 12 video hub is that I want to be able to determine on site which camera goes where. So what is camera one? Maybe I'm gonna just flip it at a later stage. That might be a better solution for me. That's the first thing. The second thing is that I want to be able to, if I, for example, I have a Teams or a hybrid setup where I'm at the company that I work for, I am having maybe 4 Teams clients started up. So I have 4 interviewees that I can show if I would like, and I also have 4 cameras in the venue. Then I have a problem, because I only have 8 inputs on the ATEM. So what I can do then is that I can say, okay, for if it's local, I'm going to use 4 cameras on the ATEM, and I have 2 left for the overlays via the Ultra Studio. And maybe I want to have then an interview, then I can just flip it around to having 8 inputs if I would like, or maybe just removing 2 of the localized cameras and then using those for the computers. So that flexibility is extremely important. That's the reason why I've purchased that 12 by 12. There will be a full-on review on the 12 by 12 as soon as I get this piece of gear connected. I've already tried it. I actually used it already for about a month or so in the studio, so you have already seen the output of that video hub, but I just removed it from the studio so that I can put it into my flight case. So that's the lowest and the above one that you saw in that picture. Then we have the intercom, which allows me to have 4 cameramen connected via 20-meter cables, which is all part of the deal of that product. So the cables are a part of it, the belt packs are part of it, and the connector itself. So it's one big ecosystem. It can handle up to 8 channels, but I only have 4 that I need, and I don't believe that I will have 8 camera people anytime soon. So I'm pretty happy with what I have at the moment. So that is then arranged as well. So that is the second one from the top. And then let me get that picture again. So, and then the two levels of Terranex Minis are, the above one are all SDI to HDMI converters, 1, 2, 3. And then below that we have one time the Ultra Studio for the overlays, one time a HyperDeck for either playback or recording, most likely recording. And the third one is the web presenter, which I talked about a long time ago, like maybe about June last year, that with the web, no, it's later. Anyway, with the web presenter, I then said I don't want to have my system on the internet. So I have everything localized on my own intranet, with the exception of one thing, and that's a web presenter. That one will go out to the outside world, and that is but that's the only thing that goes out of the unit. So now you know what was in that box. The reasoning behind it again is flexibility. Now, that box is extremely heavy these days already, and I didn't even have the connectors at the back of it yet. So I didn't put in the SDI to SDI connectors or HDMI to HDMI connectors. That's not there yet. I'm building it up as we go. As a matter of fact, I wanted to show you something that I forgot. So I will be back and forth. I will show you, and it will take me maybe 10-15 seconds. So I will show it to you very quickly. So give me a second. So there you go. All right. So like I said, I wanted to start to think about how it will look like. So I actually have now a back of the rack already partly done. So here you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 SDI connectors, 2 HDMI connectors. I know it's not fully. Let me try to. There you go. Two HDMI connectors and 1 Ethernet connector, and that's, for example, for the inputs. And there will also be one for the outputs, where I will have 4 times a 5-pin connector for the intercoms. Then I will have again 2 times HDMI and 2 times SDI for the outputs, for maybe multiple program mounts, maybe multiple multi-views, so that I'm at least flexible. These I already had because of the prior case that I had, so, but it's not perfect yet. So we still have to do a lot of additional work on that. And I don't have enough SDI cables to get everything connected at the moment. So that's the way it goes, right? So it's a lot of thinking and that kind of stuff. But the thinking can be done on like I did here in real life, which is always better in the sense that you will see it happen. However, you can also use different tools, and that's exactly what I did as well. And that is that I used by H2R gear also to show you how everything is connected. So without further ado, or maybe let's check if there are some remarks or questions. Gerard says that there's no noise from the phone, so the flight mode does work perfect. Marjolein says audio is crystal clear for me. Thanks for fixing that. Well, it's just a matter of putting this one on flight mode for now. Empty says I'm in the middle of the second row. I've seen in the middle of the second row of the Ternex a little hyperdeck. Correct. Which was the old version of the hyperdeck. So I do not own the new hyperdeck mini. I only have the old one. And of course I have this one right here, which I love that. I love this one very much, but I want to have this one in my studio right here. And so I want to make it big, but also not too big. Hey, Quick Tech Solutions, how are you? Great of you to be here. And Brad is also in here from Canada. Really cool for you to be here. Empty says, my 6U rack weighs approximately 40 kilos full of equipment. I know, it's really heavy. My dad and myself were working on it. We wanted to put it on the table where I took that picture. And it was a 2-step process, to be honest. It was quite a lot of work. I see my best friend here. My new best friend. Let me get him for you. Hey! Kom even. Ja, kom even kijken. Oh, kom eens kijken. Hello. There you go. There he is. There he is. Are you gonna sit on your... sit right here? Or not? He's really getting way more I hope that he's not. No, it's not a good idea, Petra. There you go. Go sit there. Go sit there. That's a good place. All right. So that was a Scooter there for you. He is growing like hell at the moment. I don't know what I've put in that food. Empty says John did a great job to create HDR graphics and also map he created. Absolutely. So yes, without further ado, let's talk about H2R gear, which is the one that John made. I actually I'm struggling a little bit with it, but I'm going to tell you, and of course next time that you see it, and I can provide it to you if you'd like, but let's just briefly talk about what you see. So it all starts here with 4 SDI inputs that are coming in. So these are SDI cables, and these are getting into the Video Hub 12x12. It's not the clean switch that I have, but it's just the 12x12. But 1, 2, 3, 4 are always connected to SDI. Channel 5 and 6, I decided that will always be an HDMI to SDI connector, so that is very easy for me to just add immediately an HDMI into the mix, so that, for example, 2 laptops, that is easy. And then the rest I still have to think about. I don't know yet. And there is on the inside, you will also, for example, see that on the in 12 is, for example, program out at the moment. It's not perfect yet, so I'm still working on this, but it just gives you a bit of an idea. You also see that I have a plethora of SDI to HDMI converters. All of them, of course, are related towards the ATEM Extreme. Please note that there's only one, that is channel 2, that is a fully only HDMI connector. So I'm not going to worry about it. It's always a direct connection without no smart video up at all. Basically, the reason why I'm doing that is just because one less channel is actually 4 ports on the clean switch that I've saved. So that would be a very good efficiency there for me. Then on the right hand side, you see that I have the Ultra Studio HD Mini with 2 SDIs. One of them is for the fill, one of them is for the key. So channel 8 is not needed, it's not used in the production anymore. But channel 7 can be either a full screen setup, it can be a video playback with audio, but it can also be a lower third or some transparent graphics. So that's all possible there. And the vMix is connected to the Ultra Studio HD via Thunderbolt, but unfortunately these two are not connected perfectly because the one is Thunderbolt 3, the other one is Thunderbolt 2. But please know that that connection needs to be there, so I have to create my own here to make that work, which I will definitely do. Then let's go down a little bit. Let me see. Yeah, now let's go down a little bit. Here you see that both the HDMI out A and HDMI out B are both are let me. Okay, now I'm going to show you what happened here, because otherwise you're like, what's there? What's going on, Petra? Well, we have a visitor here again, so I had to be very quickly. But let's try to move on and see how far we can go without him interrupting too much. So we have the HDMI to SDI converter. That one is actually making from one output 2 outputs, which is great. So one can go directly to Web Presenter as program out. So that is what's hitting the stream automatically. And the other one, which is again the program out, will be put into the input 12 on the Smart Video Hub, so that I can always use the program right here, this one. I can always use the program for something else, like for example the HyperDeck Studio Mini, which is connected via this one right here, also to the output of 12. So I can connect in 12 to out 12. Actually, it's the other way around on the video hub, but that's the way it goes. Now, I also have a Netgear PoE port in there as well. So everything that can connect via PoE, for example, the Terranex minis right here, those three can all go via the Netgear port for PoE. The same goes for the Ultra Studio. Can all no, sorry, that's not true what I'm saying. The Ultra Studio goes via Thunderbolt, and the Hyperdeck Mini is also PoE. So a lot will go via this, also from the power consumption situation. And because of that, you will see that you don't need too much weight on electricity cables, which is also a fantastic way of doing things. And of course, not to forget the monitor that is going via SDI. So there you go. That is a lot of different cables that you need to take into account. And so what is the most important thing for me at the moment is really to figure out what do I put on the back, because I do want to be able to have my access for my hands still in the product, in the case, because yeah, you never know, maybe you need something, but I want it to be as flexible as I can humanly get it done. So that is the video flight case that I'm working on. It might change. We will come back. We will revisit it, of course, once it's starting to work again. My expectation is that also looking at that, I need to order some stuff. Like, for example, these connectors. I need a few, and I also need to order cables. I think that it will take some time. Seriously, dude, what are you doing? Anyway, so maybe, let me think. Think that in a month or so from now it will totally be ready. Let me see if there are some comments. Quick Tech Solutions says scooters are durable. Yes, he is. He is a fantastic little rascal. He did fall 2.5 meters the other day. Because he thought it would be a good idea to climb on the curtains all the way up, and then by navigating some Lego boxes, he was on the top of the cupboard, but unfortunately he fell. Both Kermit and myself were of course very shocked that it happened, but he was hurt, to be honest, but like maybe an hour or so later it was totally gone, so it was okay. But there was a lot of shock there. MT says, question: can you explain the difference between the clean switch and the normal switch? Yes, I can. So let's talk about the smart video hubs in more generic terms first. So there are 4 smart video hubs. A smart video hub is like a matrix that allows you, like a patch panel, which allows you to patch what output do you want, what input do you want to see on an output. So literally what you do is that you, from the output perspective, you check, I want to have on this output, I want to have camera 1. Or no, on this output, I want to have this laptop, for example. But you can actually do, for example, that this laptop can be on output A, B, C, or D. So that is what it does. So it can be, I said or, but I actually meant and. It can be either or. Now, there are 4 different models. There's a 40 by 40. Which is, of course, 40 inputs, 40 outputs, way too big for me. Never going to do that at all because I don't need it. I don't have that amount of inputs. Then you've got a 20 by 20. And 20 by 20 is definitely one that I have on my short list to purchase, I believe, next year. I don't believe anymore that it's going to be this year, but maybe next year in this studio. So that's not going to be in the flight case. Doesn't make sense to me at all. But it might be something that's in the studio. It can still be that I'm not going to do the 20 by 20, but I'm going to do the 12 by 12 in the studio because I don't really think that I need all of them still. Like on a flight case, I will not have all connections connected. I cannot even. I don't have that idea at the moment. But here I might be. You never know. So it can be either that we have 12 by 12 on both sides. Now, what is the difference between the clean switch and the normal one? And that's basically only that with the clean switch, the frame, the switch is there's a reference connection there as well. So if you switch from one channel to another channel, so for example, this output was camera 1, but it's becoming camera 12, then that will be done in a way that you cannot really see that there's a glitch. Because if I will do that on my 12 by 12, then arguably there can be a glitch. It doesn't have to be. If all of my cameras are exactly the same, on the same reference, it's probably going to be okay-ish. But that one will be even more perfect. Scooter is doing a lot of the different things, but I'll just continue. So that's the clean switch. I would state for 150 euros additionally or 200 euros additionally, the clean switch is something that you might be interested in. I wanted to have the cheapest possible in the flight case, but it might be, well, so like I just wanted to say is that the 12 by 12, the 12 by 12 clean switch or the 20 by 20 can be in this studio in the future. Maybe, I hope. Blah, 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 blah. Good evening. Now I hope that I don't butcher your name. Amari. Welcome. MT says maybe you should install 1 or 2 LED strips in the case because it's quite dark inside. I totally 100% agree on that topic. That's a very good idea. I'm gonna definitely check that out. Ow. Amori says clean switch includes a sync circuit for all inputs linked to a main clock. Yep, definitely, that's the case. And he says, I suspect Blackmagic Design will come out with new routers and switchers soon. I hope so too, to be honest. That would be great for my studio switcher. But again, for my flight case, the 12 by 12 is perfect. Good evening, John. Great of you to be here. Excellent. Hello there. I don't know if you spot that reference, but hello there is of course what Ben Kenobi says in Star Wars. In case you know, I'm a geek. I cannot help it. Right. So that is the video side of things and that's what we're gonna work with. Now I have to admit that I am also using a lot of other products, like for example Velcro, and that Velcro is extremely strong. So what I've done this time around is that I actually Velcroed the GPI and Tally box under my network switch, which is very sturdy and really good. So I will also show you in a later video how that it all looks. I will also take pictures because now the box at the back of the products, there are no cables at the moment, so I can actually show you the system without any cables and then with cables. And I think that would be a cool setup there as well to show you how that looks. Now, I said to you that so now you also understand why that clean switch is so important, because it will allow me to the clean switch, the 12 by 12, allows me to make it so flexible that if I need 5 laptops, it's possible. If I need 10 cameras connected, then it's also possible, even if I only have 8 channels on the ATEM Mini. So that is very flexible, and that's the reason why I wanted it that way, that route that way. Now, that being said, I also want to have good audio. So what about that, Petra? So I happen to have a 2 converters that are not in the box, but they are separate. One of them is a audio to SDI. So for example, if I want, for example, this is a DSLR camera. It does not have XLR inputs. However, I do want to have a professional audio interface. Then I can just connect that. Of course, I need to convert the HDMI to SDI, but I can then ingest the audio and put it on an SDI cable. Then bring it into to this mix, put it on camera 1, for example, and I have perfect audio. So that is one reason to how I can get audio inside of the system. What I also can do is the other way around. I can have a SDI to audio. For example, I want to be able to get the audio of a product. So let me try to figure out again. So audio to SDI makes it possible to go from my audio rack, switch it, convert it into an SDI port, and then pushing it into this production rack. On the other side of things, I can do a SDI connector from this production video to the audio flight case. I hope that it makes sense. I get a feeling that it didn't make sense at all, but let me just say that I'm not planning to use XLR cables between the two, but SDI cables. So I have only one cable for video and audio, and that's everything that I have between those two racks, which is really good and very helpful. And then in that other rack, I currently already have the Behringer X32 rack in there, which is a fantastic beast. It has 16 inputs. It has, on top of my head, 8 outputs, where there are 6 mixes and 1 for left and right main mix, which is fantastic. And basically that is that. So that is the other side of things. And also what I want to achieve with that audio mix is that I want to have the possibility to have a headset for the presenters, so that they can talk, they can just use their hands, they don't have to have a microphone like this a bit, because if you do it like this, then people that are never using microphones will go like this, or like I literally had a colleague that was like talking like this, la 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 la, with the microphone so it's not going to work. So you want to have a headset or a lavalier. I do like the headsets a little bit more for that. So that's the reason why I'm investing in at least one of those, and also a in-ear headset as well, so that they can hear either my input for, hey, you only have like 5 minutes left, or they can also listen into what is happening on Teams or a video or something. So that is something that I also want to take into account. So that's the reason why I have 2 of them. Actually, I wanted to have 2 of the 8Us because it looks nice, etc. But I think that it will either be 1 8U for the video production and 2 4Us for the audio, where the 1 4U is for the receiver, etc., and the other is really for external microphones and in-ear headsets. The reason why I'm not sure about that at the moment is that my car is not that big, it can handle the HU without any problems, but 2 HUs is going to be quite a trick. So maybe I want to have a little bit more flexibility there. So that's the reason why I'm considering to have a little bit of a smaller setup there. And audio is not always required for what I do. All right, so that is what I wanted to tell you. So we talked about why do I need that flight case. I wanted to have HU so that I have a lot of space. I told you what kind of products are in there already. I might be tempted to purchase a drawer so that I can put some small parts in there, like for example converters, etc., so that I have them handy in case I need them. Most likely I will do that, but I will do that at a later stage. Currently I am considering indeed what kind of inputs and outputs that I have on the flight case. And I also briefly talked about the audio interface. Of course, I will be talking very thoroughly about that audio interface at a later stage. So I did not. We really talked a lot about the ATEM Extreme in the past. I think that I will be talking about the intercoms, if you like, one of the future videos. I think that will be very interesting to see. Of course, also the Smart Video Hub clean switch, or sorry, without the clean switch part, the 12x12 only. I will also talk about that at the later stage as well. And next week is definitely going to be about vMix 25, which is the new version of vMix, to show you a little bit around what it's all about. So next week we're going to talk about vMix, and then maybe in about 2 weeks or so from now we will talk. Hopefully I already have enough connected so that I can really showcase the Smart Video Hub for you. Would that be great for you? Let me know in the comments below, or at least mention it at the moment. I'm looking forward to really using it. If you look at the previous case, the previous case that I showed you 1 or 2 weeks ago, that was by design a temporary solution because I was waiting for this case. Now that I have the real case, I want to make this case a little bit more fancy. I want to really dress up the cabling. I want to make it really nice also from the inside, so that if you need to be inside of the box, you can easily find your way. So I think that's important. The next thing is that I think that this flight case will not change that much in the next 2 or 3 years. Maybe there's only one thing that I'm pretty sure that I will change in case this happens. What this is the following. I am using the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO as my switcher. I love this switcher a lot. It's the best switcher I've ever had, and it's also the one that I also want to have running this show, because this computer that I have in front of me will be discontinued at the end of this year. I will not be using it for this show as of December. So that will be the moment that I will say goodbye to it. For the show, I will still use it for other things, but maybe some other, like file management or something, but definitely not like a file server, but definitely not for the show. That being said, then I want to have everything done by the ATEM Mini Extreme. So I want to get that out of the flight case as quickly as I can, and I want to have a dedicated switcher in the flight case. But that dedicated switcher does need to have a lot of the features that the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO has. What are those important aspects? If Blackmagic comes out with a 19-inch rack mountable unit this year, probably, I'm pretty sure they will. I have no inside knowledge, but it cannot be the case that it's not the case. So a 19-inch rack. It can be either a full 19-inch rack, one from full U, or maybe a two-thirds, like they did with the previous television studio. that 19-inch rack needs to have at very least 4 SDI inputs, at the very least, preferably all 8 of them, or 7 plus 1 HDMI, but at the very least 4 SDI inputs, and then of course 8 channels. It also needs to have at least 3 SDI outputs, one for multi-view, one for program, and one for aux, for something else. It also needs to have, at the very minimum, Super Source. I really, really like Super Source. I think it's great. I love it. So it needs to have that too. It also needs to have ISO recording, because I'm not going to purchase multiple HyperDecks. I'm not going to do that. So I want to have it. I want to have that built into the system. It does not have to have streaming, because I have a great web presenter, and that is the one that I'm using for streaming, nothing else. If that is the case, if they're going to do that, and it is affordable, which means that it's roughly the same price as the television studio, maybe 200 euros more than the current ATEM Mini Extreme ISO, I'm going to purchase it. It's that great. And then I am 100% ready to get this also in this studio. That was something that I just wanted to talk about. Maybe you are in agreement with that. Let me see what you guys are talking about. Wow, a lot of comments. MT says 12 by 12 or 20 by 20. You can't have enough ins and outputs. Thinking Aaron said that 20 are enough. Yes, I agree. However, I also need to think about my budget. My budget is not endless. So I'd rather have 12 by 12 and be a little bit more precise on what I want to do than just having 20 by 20, because I also want to maybe invest in other things like for example, the ATEM television studio 2021 edition, like 2022. I mean, sorry. The 2022 edition of the ATEM television studio. That would be great. This kitten is today 2 weeks away from his mother, and bonding with Petra is demonstrated here. Yes, and he is actually right here. He's snoozing right there. So, yeah, he's in the house. Oops, there you go. The kitten looks so fluffy. His coat is extremely soft. Very nice. Empty says you could use Dante for audio. The Behringer X32 can, if I remember right, identical cards, but SDI is also a great solution. Yeah, you're right. So for me, the reason was that so I have access to a camera with XLR at the moment, very close to me. However, maybe in the future I don't, and then I need to have the possibility to convert any camera together with audio, and then that product comes around, and that's really, really nice. So that is the reason why I have it. At the moment, I'm not planning to put it into a rack. However, I can put it in a rack as well. Love Petra's latest addition to their family. Beautiful little kitten. Yes, it's really great. MT says, you have in mind... you have in mind it's not only the flight case, you also need other stuff, space cables, cameras, and other stuff. Yeah, indeed. It's a lot of different things, and you would maybe need a bigger car, like MT says. Sorry, I cannot show that to you, but the thing is with bigger cars is that bigger cars also cost more money. And if I would use this a lot of times in the year, I would definitely think about it. But at the moment, it's going to be a smaller car, right? It's a smaller car. But the A2 rack is very, very, very possible to get in. And the cables is also possible as well. There is enough space still. at that time. We bought a drawer for our HU, but removed it as it was very heavy for the space it provided. That's a good call. Thanks. Right, John says, I thought about it, about the drawer, but I did not because of the weight. Yep. So indeed, weight is definitely a problem there as well. On TV channel says, have you tried out John's new H2R new Stinger app? Brilliant work directly from the ATEM hardware. I have not. I might be tempted to. I will. I know that he's working on it. I have seen it, but I had no use case for it yet. But of course, I will definitely do that. Talking about stingers. Oh no, I'm gonna do that at a later stage. I have a website. I found a website that you can easily create your own stingers. A few of them are free. Others you have to pay a small amount. It might be something for you. It's more. There's a lot more going on than you might think. It's not. So you have like gradients and that kind of stuff. It's really beautiful. So I will definitely show that to you. Maybe I can do that together with the vMix part so that I can also show you how the Stinger function works. Then you have it as well. Maybe next week. All right. That's all that I had in store for you today. I hope that you liked it. Are there any questions or any other things that you like me to talk to you about next time? Let me know in the comments below so that you can utilize that for future ideas. I still have a lot of ideas for this year, so I'm not worried about losing attraction. But I do want to spend more time on the things that you guys like. So let me know, and I will come back to that as quickly as I can. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you next week. Same time, same channel. And I will show you one more time where Scooter is. He has his eyes closed at the moment. He's right there. And he is really enjoying being here. Thanks so much again for being here. And I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.